Okay, so the next tool that I want to talk about here is the Paintbucket tool, and that is the third tool in your list of tools on your menu. And it contains two items. One is the eyedropper and one is the paint bucket. And when you click on it, it will bring up this materials pane automatically. And this contains a list of all the colors in your model that you may have recently used or may still be in the model currently. And if you use a lot of colors all at once, sometimes this panel can get very cluttered and hard to see. And so if there are things in here that you don't want, or if you just want to see what currently exists in this model, you can click this little recycle icon down here, and it will remove anything that isn't currently in the model from the pane. And then the second tab is the Browse tab, and this is where all of the odds and ends that you can use to um, texture your model with exist. And so it's good to note that SketchUp supports translucency. And so there are textures in here where if you select them and then you click on a face, it will actually make that face translucent. It will apply a glass or a water texture to that face, and then it will show you the things that are now behind that texture as if it was a window or if it was as if it was water. SketchUp also supports colors, and so there's a whole bunch of colors in here, and you can use them to just simply color your faces. If you pick a color and then you want to go back and remember what that color was without having to scroll through this list, you can use this eyedropper tool, and you can use that to transfer that color to a new side. You can also do that from the Home tab. Any color that you've used will exist in this panel, and you can select it from here. If I got rid of all of my green and I wanted to see what was currently in use in my model, I would again mash the recycle bin and it would remove that green color from my palette. So that is a quick overview of the Paint Bucket tool. You can also use modifier keys to hold down the Shift key, paint all faces with matching materials. Holding down the Control key will paint all faces with connected faces with matching materials. Shift Control will paint everything on the object with matching materials. And Alt is my paint dropper tool. So if I select Alt here and I do a Shift and Control, I will now paint everything in this cube with my translucent glass texture. Likewise, if I go back in here and I grab a nice green and I do a control paint bucket, it'll paint the whole thing because all of these faces are connected. And if I do a shift click, it paints everything that was green yellow. So an easier way to describe that is if I put two brown faces in here and I want to go back to my green, the shift key will only paint those brown faces green. And so those are some quick ways to manipulate or move your paint colors around your model.